The Great Divide. Harry wants to go back. Meghan doesn't. This marriage has a fault line. Good day, and welcome to the Sussex File. I want to start today with a date. The 19th of May, 2026. Harry and Meghan's 8th wedding anniversary. They posted. They smiled. Meghan shared unseen wedding photos. 8 years together, and from the outside, everything looked exactly as it always does. Polished, intentional, and perfectly curated for the Instagram grid. But behind those anniversary posts, sources this week are painting a very different picture. Because apparently, right now, Harry and Meghan are, and this is the word being used consistently across multiple outlets, at odds. Significantly, structurally, fundamentally at odds over the single, most important question facing their future. Does Harry go back to the royal family? And the answer, depending on which Sussex you ask, appears to be entirely different. Let us go through what we actually know, because the details here are extraordinary. According to sources speaking to both Closer magazine and Woman's Day, Prince Harry believes, genuinely believes, that he is, quote, very close to getting King Charles to agree to a part-time working royal arrangement. Not a full return. Not Kensington Palace and the whole machinery. A part-time role, built around his causes, principally the Invictus Games, that would allow him to reconnect with his heritage, his father, and his country on a managed, sustainable basis. Sources say Harry is exhausted from flying back and forth to the UK alone. He stopped in Britain in April on his way to Ukraine. He attended the High Court privacy case last year solo, and he no longer wants to navigate reconciliation as a one-man operation. He wants Meghan beside him. He wants, as sources put it, a united front. Meghan, reportedly, does not want any of it. Insiders describe her as not at all of the same mind. She has, according to sources, built what they call a new blueprint, a California-based identity anchored in the As Ever brand, the Netflix deal, the podcast, the lifestyle empire. Moving back to Britain, even part-time, is described as certainly not an option, and this is the phrase that should stop you in your tracks, a massive deal-breaker. The source's conclusion was blunt. They're very much at odds, and neither seems ready to budge. Now, let us think about this with fresh eyes, because most coverage either dismisses it as tabloid noise or treats it as proof the marriage is ending. Neither interpretation is correct, and neither is particularly interesting. Here is what this actually is. Harry and Meghan are caught in a trap of their own architecture. They built their entire post-royal identity on the premise that the institution was the problem, that leaving was the only rational choice for two people who valued freedom, authenticity, and well-being. That was the thesis of the Oprah interview. That was the thesis of Spare. That was the thesis of the Netflix documentary. 6 years of content, deals, speeches, and subscriptions all built on the foundation that going was right and staying would have been wrong. Now Harry wants to go back. Partially. And the moment he does, that entire foundation develops a crack. Not because returning is wrong. Arguably, reconciliation with a dying father is entirely human and entirely understandable, but because it dismantles the narrative that justified everything they sacrificed. If Harry goes back, even part-time, then what exactly was all of this for? Meghan's resistance, seen through this lens, is not simply stubbornness. It is brand protection. If Harry rehabilitates with the royal family, Meghan's entire California empire, built on the premise that she was driven out of an institution that mistreated her, becomes significantly harder to sell. The jam, the wine, the Netflix show, the podcast about female founders, all of it rests on a story in which Meghan Markle prevailed despite what was done to her. A husband-shaped reconciliation complicates that story considerably. And here is the detail that nobody is saying loudly enough. Harry needs Meghan with him for a royal return to work. Because walking back in alone looks like abandonment. It looks like he chose his family over her. It destroys his credibility as a husband and an ally. But Meghan going back alongside him undermines everything she has spent 6 years building. So they are stuck. Genuinely, structurally stuck. The anniversary photographs were beautiful. But behind them, two people are pulling in opposite directions. One towards a palace he was born into, and one towards an empire she built from scratch. And that tension, right now, is the most interesting story in the royal world. The Sussex File will be watching. You should be too.